turning a picture into white and black is not really because of creativity. Something happened.
There was a time where I was just shooting black and white. I was tired. Color was stressing me out, bro. I'll look at this thing and I'm like,
it's not
I've tried.
Trying to just learn by yourself.
You dey steal my answer. Are you serious? Shooting manual is the only way for professionals. Shooting on manual.
Okay. So, like, if you are not shooting manual, you are not a professional. How are you going to position yourself to start making money as early as possible?
Bruh, I've never really thought about this question.
Do you think photography is still paying?
I would like to say that.
Welcome to another episode of Depth of Field podcast, and today's episode is going to be a very interesting one because the guest I have for today is someone that I've been admiring his work from afar for a very long time. He has his portfolio built across different, niches. He does wedding photography, art portraits, he does fashion photography, and my favorite thing about all of this thing is that he's able to do all of this across different niches, and he still has this unique voice, unique style to his work. His work has been featured on multiple platforms like BBC, like New York Times, NDTV. He has worked with, big brands like Canva, Pixels, and other amazing brands. And this person is Ante. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Thanks so much.
How are you doing now?
I'm good.
I hope I was able to introduce you properly. One of the things we like to do here is to break myths about photography, creating, videography, and everything that concerns that. And the first question I'm going to ask you today is not a right or wrong question or what have you. What is that one thing that photographers, especially beginner photographers, believe that is actually a myth, and you don't believe that you actually do against that thing and it works for you?
I'll give you two.
Okay.
First of all, there's this thing where people think that sharp photos are the best. Like, if you don't have a sharp photograph, if you don't have a sharp image, you have lost it, you have missed it. I don't believe it.
Oh, okay.
Personally. And I'm not saying that there's no room for sharp photographs. I'm not saying that sharp photographs should not be something you look forward to, especially when you have like commercial jobs. But if you want to explore, if you want to really go deep into the art of photography, you have to be ready to do anything that your camera allows you to do. Anything at all.
So I remember there was one time that blurry picture, was it in America or in Nigeria? But I knew that there was a time like 2-3 years ago that blurry picture was actually trending.
Well, I don't know about trending, but personally, I would like to say, personally, it's a personal thing. I like to explore. I like to see what my camera is capable of. Okay? You shoot 1/250, 500, 1,000, 4,000, 8,000, and the higher it gets, the faster your shutter is, and then you are more likely to get like sharp images. But what happens to 1/2, 1/5? Because it's there, it's in your camera. If you check, you see 1/4.
Yeah. So why are you not using that?
What can you do with that? How can you explore that to sort of bring out the best out of your camera? I'm not saying that this is something that should be mainstream, and I'm not saying that you should follow trends. I'm just saying I personally think you should do what works for you. That's one.
But would you say what shaped that was actually your creative instincts? Is it because you are trying to be creative, or when sometimes we receive something, when you receive an idea as creatives, you want to try it out, but you know that if you follow rule of thumb, like in videography now, your shutter speed is supposed to double your frame rate if you want to. And sometimes if you really want to achieve something, you are not going to get it by just following rule of thumb. Will you say that is what inspired some of this?
Nah, I won't be truthful if I say that. I think what inspired it is mistakes.
Okay.
Yeah. There are times when you have something planned, even as a videographer. You have like a whole script, you have where you want your lights to be, you have like a whole setup. And then you to execute comes, and then there's a problem, there are setbacks and all of this, and then you are now trying to sort of save or salvage the situation, and then by you now find out some things about the whole process that
When life gives you lemon, not turn it to.
exactly.
So you're one of those photographers
So-
that believe because some photographers sees white and black. They say when you see a photographer turning a picture into white and black, it's not really because of creativity.
I've been there.
Something happened.
There was a time where I was just shooting black and white. I was tired. Color was stressing me out, bro. I'll look at this thing and I'm like,
It's not giving.
I've tried. But that's the thing. You keep trying and eventually get it.
But black and white actually tell stories. They tell stories.
There's room for all that.
There's this
room for colour,
nostalgic
room for
feeling to black and white pictures.
Even black and white is not just, there's black and white and there's black and white. There's black and white where you just turn it to black and white and it's just no color. Then there's black and white that is really, really, there are people that sit on black and white and for hours they are trying to perfect that shade. It's just black and white. But they are trying to make sure that...
So there is black and white and there is black and white.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because if you put two of them side by side, you probably pick the one that had, that has more personality.
Yeah. I actually met a photographer one time that shoots directly from the camera, black and white. And I was like, what's the difference? You can just turn it to black and white in post. He said, no, there's different. And I was like, I'm not a photographer, so I cannot argue. I was just like, okay.
I mean, I think you are. It's just that a different...
Yeah. I mean, videos are moving pictures. Yeah. And I actually started my career as a documentary photographer, kind of. Yeah. So you were trying to give the second point.
Yeah, the second one was is that shooting manual is the only way for professionals. Shooting on manual.
Okay. So, like, if you're not shooting manual, you're not a professional.
As, this one doesn't know what he's doing, and I don't believe it.
Okay.
You have aperture priority, you have shutter priority, you have the manual. Yes.
Wait, be clear. For photography, Abi?
Yeah, for photography.
Okay.
Photography, because, yeah, I'm mainly talking about photography.
Okay.
I don't want to do no day.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, yeah, photography, there are many modes on your dial, your camera dial. And I feel like people should explore what this thing actually does for you. Because your situations, your environment, location sometimes influences how you shoot. If you are constantly on manual, I mean, it's okay. It helps you build your... and helps you to really manipulate your camera properly. But when you look at the other modes, there are some very, very sensitive aspects of it that helps you or pushes you in a way that your manual mode may not. Take, for example, shutter priority. Your shutter is set while you have control. I think, while you have control over the other parts, aperture, ISO, shutter speed, the exposure triangle. And shutter priority is where your shutter is...
You only change your shutter and you get other things. Other things just aligns automatically.
Exactly.
I remember the first day I actually discovered that thing, because I used to believe, even with photography, that you can only shoot manual. And I mean, to be a professional. And I mean, I used to be a documentary photographer before I started filmmaking. And I realized, if you are not careful, if you just want to do everything manual, you will be locked in getting the technical part of the job done with. And when you are so, I don't know how to
Bent
put it in. Bent on being following rules. There's a way your creative self, you start losing that creative self, because now what you want to do is clear picture. You don't want to tell story again. You want to get really clean pictures. And sometimes what your clients really want you to come and do there, especially when you're doing documentary, even fashion, weddings especially, they want you to tell story. So when you are so bent on, you want to get your aperture, you want to get blurry background, you don't want any grain in your shot, sometimes it can make you even lose a lot of stories in your shoot. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's it majorly. There's some other ones that, not really my area of interest, but yeah, I think primarily are those two.
So I saw a video one day, somebody saying the future of photography is videography. That the future of photo is video, that photography does not pay like that again. His advice to a lot of photographers is that they should start learning video. What do you have to say about that? Do you think photography is still paying?
I would like to say that there are people who go into photography just for the love of it. Photography and videography, likewise. Then there are people who go into it for the business aspect. So I'd like to separate the two of them first.
Oh, okay.
So if you are someone who has gone into this line of work because you want to make money, and it's fine, by the way, then I think this question applies to that group of people. Photography can make you money. Videography can make you money. It's not.
One is not the future of another.
One is not the future of another, because as a videographer, I mean, they are kind of intertwined with some little differences, technical differences that you'll probably be able to understand by just thinking about it. But when you are given the opportunity, you'll probably not be able to execute it. As a photographer, for a very long time, I did not know about some settings you have to use on your camera while making videos. For example, the 1/50 rule, which is not a rule per se, but like when you shoot 1/50, there are some things that you get out of that. I like to call it the sweet spot. This is something I did not know when I started as a photographer. I was mainly focused on, just doing photography. But back to what we're saying about making money, I feel like I said, people that go into it for that reason are capable of doing anything when it comes to finances. If you're a photographer, if you do what you're supposed to do as a photographer, you make it.
You'll make money. But do you believe that there's a difference between being a very good photographer and being a very good business person in photography, right?
Definitely.
You cannot be so. Do you believe you cannot be so good, but you're making a lot of money from photography?
Yes.
And that you can 100%. Be very good and not be making as much.
Yeah, making peanuts. It's possible.
But will you consider yourself passion-driven or money-driven when it comes to photography?
I'm a very passionate photographer. I'm a very passionate.
But you want to make a lot of money from it?
Yeah, I want to make a lot of money from it. And so you have to now learn the business aspect of it. There are some things that you cannot just passion your way through. You have to actually...
There's things you cannot passion your way through. Yeah. You have to learn the business aspect of photography.
Take notes, research, meet people, ask questions.
Take notes, research, meet people, ask questions.
Yeah. Business, all this falls under the business part of it. If you really want to thrive when it comes to photography or videography, likewise, making money and all of that.
So are you saying knowing how to take really, really cool pictures, really amazing pictures is not enough if you want to make money from photography?
Just for you, Omo. You can take pictures, you can make videos, very good ones, and people will be like, oh yeah, Omo, see your colors, bro. And that's just it. That's where to end. You have to go for that if you want to make... When I say go for that, you have to now learn the depth, the intricacies of about the business part of it.
I used to say something. I said, I was telling one of my friends one day, I said, as a creative, if you are not trying to sell a course, you are not trying to teach other creatives, if most people under your post are other creative posting you, like praising you and telling you, bro, this is mad, that transition is awesome, and your client is saying, and your client is complaining, that is not...
That's a very sensitive one, because they have to also pay attention to that.
Yes,
there are some people that, well, as far as the comment comes, the praises come, they're fine. They don't really look deep into these things. Well, wait, let me do like a personal audit. Let me see how far. Let me see what in business. I'm not saying this because I'm very vast in it, but from my little understanding, you have to do like a personal audit from time to time. Last year, what did you do? How did you do it? And how much did you make?
What did your clients like the most?
What did your client like the most? What did your client not like? Because there's also that part. And how were you able to handle challenges? In this coming year, what will you do differently to make sure that all this is I mean that this is a better year for you financially in your craft. You have to actually sit down and do these things. I know someone who has like a catalog. I didn't have it for a while, but he has a catalog of people he has worked with from 5 years ago. Now, it's not as if he manually takes notes, but he has a form. A Google form will help you. When you try to book, he sends you a form, fill in your details. Now, what that does is when you have stuff like maybe International Women's Day, for example, you sieve out that email list, pick the women out and say, oh, happy International Women's, like email marketing sort of. You know, you have to stay relevant first of all to people who you have worked with, and people, it's like being seen but not necessarily physically. You are now saying happy international, like that little gesture can go a long way. Oh, you remembered me, we shot 5 years ago, but you thought it wise to send me like a reminder, oh, happy National Women's Day, this and this, and those little um relationship with people has its place when it comes to the business aspect of it. You agree with me that if you go to some restaurants, their food is not the best, but their
But they have the
customer
most
service,
customer,
bro.
and we have restaurants. You just be like, oh, mo, this restaurant is so underrated.
Exactly. So I think it applies in so many ways to both photography.
So, would you say stock photography? I believe you do a bit of stock photography. Do you think it's profitable or is just overhyped?
It can be,
It
but
can be.
first of
I love
all,
that.
first of all, I would like you not to set out to make money from stock photography. Just a reminder. Okay, I'm putting out work because I want to kind of be exposed. I want my work to be seen in parts of the world that are not necessarily just
There are other benefits to it
there
than
are other
just money.
benefits. Yeah, exactly. Other
Okay.
benefits to
So
it.
if you want your stuffs out there beyond just Nigeria, and you want to inspire other people with what you do, you can just
Exactly.
go about it. Okay. Okay. So what would you say is one thing in the industry? When I'm talking about industry, I'm talking about the photography industry, creative industry in general, that frustrates you.
That frustrates me. Ooh.
That you're like, can you guys just stop? You guys are doing too much. You are doing too much of it. I think a time it was for filmmaking, it was Ace, using too much Ace, film grain, annihilation, plenty bloom. People just, and I'm like, can you guys just rest?
Yeah, that that on its own is like a trend. I don't like trends.
You don't like following
I
trends?
don't like trends.
Well, do you think you can stay relevant without following trends?
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
By standing out?
Well, not necessarily standing out, because not following trends doesn't mean you are standing out. It just means you're not following trends. You get how do I put this? You are doing stuff that continue to spark that, because I tell people that when I started photography, I had this very intense
Intense what?
spark.
Okay.
Like there was this drive, bro. I like this. I want to do it. Because first of all, let's go back, rewind. Art is undetected plagiarism. What you think you are doing, what you think you are creating, is because you have seen it somewhere, one way or the other. There's no
What you think was inspired and
what you think
nobody
was
has ever
inspired
done it.
is because you have, in a way, seen it somewhere, and it's okay. There's no rule that says you mustn't follow.
But because everybody is not doing
But
a particular thing at certain points in time, does not mean you now
does
have
not
to
mean-
do it to be relevant.
exactly.
Okay. So, can you tell us what goes in your head when you're about to do a shoot or when you're preparing for a shoot? Is there anything like pre-production in photography?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, journaling
Okay.
has helped me a lot. There's a mood board aspect of it. When you want to do
Yeah,
videos, you
yeah.
kind of like script. It's like
Storyboarding.
exactly the preparation part of it. For photography, it's the mood board. You have an idea of what you want to achieve. This is what the client looks like. These are the features of the client. This is the outfit and all of that. So you put that together. you have a board. This is the outfit. These are the colors, the details as much as you can because it will help you. This is what I want to achieve. Okay, how do I achieve this with this location? Do we have to change location? Do we have to change the outfit? What time of the day if you're shooting outside? What kind of lights would you like to use? What kind of backdrop? All of that goes a long way to help, even down to poses. Uh, Personally, I feel what makes a good photograph, posing location, lighting. Lighting is very,
Very
important.
important.
Very
Very
important.
important.
But these three, it by default helps you stay consistent when creating. If you're a fashion photographer, you know that you have to highlight that
You can't
fashion
pose like it's wedding.
Exactly. You can't pose like it's a headshot. You have to make sure that you're because a lot of times there's the personal work you do, like your personal work, and then there is client based. You now have to bridge the gap. Your client to come and this person works in finance. This person doesn't have time to pose. I mean to learn how to pose. This person is not a model. That's where you come in. I would like you to do this. I would like you to do like this. I would like you to do this. I like to do this. Oh, just pretend you are. All of that has a way of bringing out, because I can stay now and you take a picture of me. I'm just looking directly. And then I can stay and pose in a way that, you know, and then there's life, there's personality, something jumps out. So I think all of that put together makes a very good.
So can you share with us the worst client experience you've ever had?
Damn. Can we skip?
Why? Are you scared?
Okay, please can you expatiate? Like when you say worst client experience, what particularly are you talking about?
Like what the clients have either done for you or what happened on a particular set because of the clients, and how you were able to, even if you were not able to manage it, it's not everything we're able to manage. Some things are just lessons for us that, oh, more next time. I remember something happened and I was like, next time. I just, something will just happen. You just go to your, what's it called?
Go and review it.
Your contract.
Go and
Just
review
go and
it
review your
sharp.
contract. The next client, I will never make this mistake again.
Okay, there was one. So you know how there are times when as a photographer, you are, because generally in the creative space, there are times when bad come, money is coming, then there are drought periods. Those little drought periods where nothing is coming in, so you have to re-strategize. So there was this time where one of those drought periods, and then a client messaged me, oh, I would like to do this and this and this and this. And then you know that this is not what you usually charge for this thing. But because you are in a drought period, like, this one will fix this thing.
You gotta
Just
learn. You gotta learn the hard way.
bruh. So I said, okay, let's do it. But only, you go like the form, it's because of, what's it cause?
Don't tell anybody I collected that amount from you.
Exactly. So I went to do it. I did it, and bro, I don't even want to go deep into what happened. But bro, this babe called me, her whole family members called me over something that I made clear. This is what you are getting. This is the deliverables you are getting for this amount you paid. I can't go beyond this. But you want me to stay on this thing, having sleepless nights, just because you've been able to come and
I think that's one thing photographers and videographers need to know, is that when you are reducing price for your clients, they are not thinking you will reduce the quality or the quantity of the work.
Exact quantity, especially the deliverables, because
And the worst time to even reduce price is when you are broke, because it has happened to me several times that you reduce price because you are broke and you get booked the same day or even close to the same period for better pay. So how are you supposed to do it now?
And then another thing to yourself, bro, I should have waited.
What
is this? But you guys just finish. You have to just finish it, and I think that's it.
So if you are to start your photography career from beginning, what are the mistakes you've made that you would have corrected? How would you have started differently now? with everything you know now? Because I know, see, I tell a lot of beginners or people that are just starting out or self-taught photographers and videographers is that instead of wasting years trying to just learn by yourself.
You dey steal my answer. Oh. You dey steal my answer.
Are you serious?
I was going to say that just attach yourself from the very first time you realize that, okay, this is what I want to do. Find people
There is
who
no
have
pride. I feel like it's a thing of pride because you want to feel like nobody taught me this. So
exactly.
I'm just good like that.
Find
I've never.
somebody who has gone far. Find somebody who is in the industry. Because in as much as the person will be able to show you the ropes,
YouTube alone is not enough.
There's connection. There's connection. You start with, I don't know if this guy would want me to say this in this interview, but I have a friend of mine, I won't call his name. He's a very good friend of mine, by the way. He started by attaching himself. I don't know if I would say attaching, but by being in that space of people who have been there.
Already been there.
Today, he works with Bedge. And it's not because of anything outside the fact that he was available. Made sure that
he was in the right room at the right time.
Exactly. And you can't be in the right room at the right time if there's no connection. If somebody doesn't point you,
you can't make it in isolation.
By being on YouTube, I mean, it's okay. Polish your skills by learning every day on YouTube.
But I think it's high time creators stop taking pride in, this self-taught thing. I mean, I'm a self-taught filmmaker. I didn't go to film school until I think recently, a few months ago.
Yeah.
I did my directing course with a film school. Okay. And that was the only time I've ever had any physical training on videography or filmmaking at all. But at a point, I realized what has also shaped me to becoming who I am today and knowing what I know today in filmmaking and videography. Our friends have been able to make over the years. They are not just things YouTube is not enough. YouTube will teach you how to do something.
Exactly.
But YouTube will not really tell you how to apply. Like when you apply, because filmmaking, videography, photography is not just about reading and understanding. Sometimes you read, you understand, you apply, it's not working. That is when you need people.
Exactly.
That is when you see that. Just buying. I used to tell. There's this course I have that my last class that I'm selling now. Yeah. I said I don't want to record. I'm not doing any recorded video course. I've never done one. I don't think I can ever, because most time when you just buy those courses, you end up not finishing them. There is no connection to the person teaching you. They are just giving you tips and tricks, half-truths. They did not tell you, okay, I remember there was one thing that happened to me when I just started videography. I used to follow rule of third a lot. I didn't have ND filter. I was following, if your shutter must double your frame rate. And I didn't have ND. I could not afford ND filter. I was making my shutter. My videos were always blown out and looking like trash. So I went out to assist one of my boss in the industry now. And he was shooting a talking head with 1,800. And I was like, okay, I don't want to mention it. I was like,
I need to understand. You're like,
I was like, what the hell are you doing? You are not. I was like almost teaching him that you are not supposed to be doing this. You are supposed. I was coming from my rule of thumb and my YouTube that you are supposed to be shooting 1/. But he said, is it not working? It's working. He said, okay. He said he has compensated. He's shooting on 100 frames per second for a talking head. And he played the video for me in his studio. He was not even shooting on log or whatever. He was just using normal picture profile. Yeah. And the video was, I was not capping. The video was super, super clean. To me, he said, do you have an ND filter? I said, no. So if you shoot 1/50, and you are outdoor, you are shooting 25 frames per second, how do you? I say I will increase my aperture. What happens when you want depth in your this thing? But if your subject is not moving anywhere, if it's a standstill interview and you are doing like, who will notice? then you just want to do it for a social media highlight for an event, and you're so bothered about all of these technicalities.
Nobody will show you that on YouTube.
Nobody will explain
Nobody
that
will
to you
explain
on
that
YouTube.
to you. Nobody will
So
explain that to you.
I feel what you were saying, and I think is high time creators starts, learning beyond tips and tricks, connecting with other creators. There's something the gurus in the industry knows that, and it's not the difference is not just gear. I don't think I know that gear has a huge role to play but it's not just gear. In fact, you'll be surprised the kind of gear a lot of big dogs in the industry are using. I had a meeting with a photographer, well known. I will not mention his name, in Lagos. I met him at Almat Farm, I think last 2 weeks.
Okay.
I was surprised to see that this man is still using Canon R in 2026. Meanwhile, a lot of beginners
Want to
have
go
bought
for an
R63.
R5.
They've already bought R63. You will be surprised that most top Canon users in Nigeria don't even own R63. And that most people that own R63 are people that are not even, that their work is not there. But most beginners, when they see, I think there's a myth when beginners see very good people in the industry shooting, really exceptional videos, really exceptional pictures, they'll be like, oh, Ante will be using one mad ass.
Let me tell you something. A lot of people don't know this thing, yeah? About my camera journey. Only my real G's. I've been shooting for 7 years now, getting to 8. But for the most part from the first 4 years, I didn't have a camera. First 4 years,
you didn't even have a camera.
Yeah, I had one small one, and then it packed up, something like this. It packed up. Then after that, I didn't have a camera till like 2020. I got this
During
Canon
lockdown.
7D. Yeah, during lockdown. Canon 7D. So I had that 7D, one very bogus, serious machine. And then after that, I lost it. I lost it trying to upgrade. I got scammed and all of that. And you have a camera again. Now, when you look at what I do, you'll be thinking, oh, more, bro, what did you use to shoot this thing? I can tell you, I shot with an R5, I shot with an R. It's not my camera, bro. It's not my camera. And I'm not saying that there's no place for you to have this serious equipment. It's okay. But you need to really understand how to use them. Case study, Ebuka Modi. I strongly believe that, and I tell people as well when I have the opportunity, that if you give Ebuka a Canon Rebel, that ancient Canon, the difference between what he'll shoot on an FX6 and that won't be much. Like, he knows his stuff. He shot on a Nikon, ancient Nikon for a very long time, and like there has been consistent growth in his work years, but he knows his stuff. There's no limit. I feel like there's no limitation when it comes to...
So do you feel like if the first ever camera you've ever used, do you feel like if you have it today, you're going to shoot better than what you were shooting on it before?
On what I have? Definitely. You see, like, I am so comfortable with this answer because 100%.
Yeah, there was a time I used to have access to a A7 III.
Yeah.
And I used to feel like I would see other people that has A7 IV, A7 S3, and I would feel like I don't really have much. My videos were not so great. They were crappy and stuff. And I thought it was my camera until I now used A7 III again last year. And I saw the shot I was able to achieve, and I was like, wait,
you grow.
This same setup, I was not able to. So a lot of time, I think it's just a myth. Gear has a lot of role to play, but it's definitely not everything that there is to getting good at what you do. Okay, what would you believe anybody should stop doing immediately if they want to grow as a photographer or as a creator in general?
Stop being isolated. Stop being isolated. And I know that it doesn't come off as isolation initially, but if you look down, if you look deeper, you would see that, for example, now, I've known about Akadari for a while, but I've never been here. And just take a walk. Sometimes it's not even about shooting or editing. go outside, touch grass, go and go
Say
just
not touch grass.
just go outside, just go somewhere. It may not even be a studio, it might be a restaurant. Hang out more, learn things. It has a way of opening your mind in many ways that you will not even know. So yeah, just stop being preaching to myself as well. I know a lot of people think that in a way I'm out there, but I'm not. I feel I need to do more, put in more effort to just be more visible. So
Okay. What type of photography or what niche in photography would you say is overrated to you?
overrated, none.
You don't believe any is
I don't
overrated?
believe any is overrated.
Okay.
None. It may be that in our climb,
Or
in
what, let
in
me
our
put it this way. What niche in photography will you think people think this is where the money is? You know, there's this myth that most videographers, when they are starting out, I'm not really sure if it's because they think that is where they can make money the most, but everybody tends to tilt towards wedding at first.
exactly.
People think there's a I can't even remember how many weddings I've rejected last year and this year. Not that I don't shoot weddings, but I'm very picky with weddings now. In fact, I intentionally up my price so that I can filter some level of weddings that I don't want to be shooting. There's this myth in videography that more wedding is so profitable, but wedding is the least like amount of profit I've gotten from videography. What would you say pertaining to that in photography?
Um, like you said, weddings tend to be like where people are drawn to because that's where you get more revenue from. But I beg to differ.
Do you make most of your money from weddings?
Actually, yes.
Oh,
But point, at at some point in my life, I had a client who paid me. She's abroad. She's an artist. Paid me, commissioned me rather, to do a fashion campaign for her. That was the most money I made from that aspect, and it was much more than I'll make from a wedding today. And if
but generally, you say you've made more money in
generally
terms of.
I've made more money from weddings than, and like I wanted to say the other time, it's not even about the niche. Sometimes it's about your location.
The location.
Yeah, we're in Nigeria today, and there's some things that are obtainable here that might not be obtainable. Like that when you go out, you go abroad, it's completely different. You would see that, I don't even need to do weddings to earn this much. So your location sometimes maybe you need to change your location to be able to. But yeah, weddings are quite lucrative, but that's not only where you can make that amount of money.
So you've worked with, like you've been featured on New York Times, you've been featured on BBC, NDTV, you've worked with, your work has been featured on Canva,
Yeah.
Pixels. For somebody that is just coming up, how is all of that possible?
Canva. First of all, I mean, everybody or most people know what Canva is, but Canva has a subsidiary called Pexels. It's
Okay.
a
Okay.
stock,
Canva owns
yeah,
Pixels.
Canva owns Pexels. And so they source for stock photographs from all over the world. And it's free to air. You drop your photographs there, you're not really paid for it or
The
whatever.
only when
But
somebody donates, right?
exactly, you get donations and all of that. But there are times when there are challenges and you could go in and win something. In turn, they get your creative ideas out there, and so Canva kind of was my point of, should I say, Canva was the one who that exposed
So there are a
my
lot of
work.
opportunities out there that a lot of creatives don't even know about, and it's
Yeah,
just the gap between them and the information.
exactly.
What about BBC, New York Times? How
Still
did that?
Canva. So you know how your work goes out there. These brands reached out to Canva as well. Oh, not Canva per se, Pexels now. I'm saying Canva because Pexels is a subsidiary. So, would like to use this image for this article we are putting out. and they pick it. Since it's stock, you're not actually paying to use it. But it's very nice to see that, oh, this is something that BBC would like to use for this article you're putting out. And yeah.
So when it comes to photography, would you say passion matters than talent, or talent matters than passion, or do both works hand in hand?
I think
Which one is more important?
passion.
Passion
Yeah.
matter than your
Yeah,
talent.
because you only become talented when you have been able to let your passion drive. Because you can't wake up and say you are a talented photographer when you haven't explored, when you haven't made mistakes. Because every talented person did something before you found out that they were talented. Yeah. And yes, it may look like, oh, this person is born with a natural ability to see things in a way that you cannot see. But even with that, there is constant feeding of that passion for the person to become talented. So I think passion is where it lies. If you're not passionate, I tell people that if you're not passionate, don't bother trying this thing because you go sweat, you go suffer. It's not really appealing. It's not something that you get into and then in a few years you start making money. You have to actually like it.
So if you're starting for the first time, like you're starting your career newly now, you want to start again, what are those things? How are you going to position yourself to start making money as early as possible?
Bruh, I've never really thought about this question. I don't really thought about this, but let me see. Like I said, exposure. I know people frown.
And are you saying people should work for exposure?
Yes, so work
You
for
should work for
exposure.
exposure.
Work for exposure. If you're just starting now, work like a
So, but
donkey.
I believe there's a thin line between working for exposure and slaving yourself away, and
That's your cross to carry.
that's
You
your
would
question.
know you would know when you are beginning to slave.
I talked about collaboration
Yeah.
recently and how it should benefit both parties. And I think we've all fell into that trap starting out.
Yeah.
You just want to collaborate, even though you're a fashion photographer and most people around you, where you can really make money from is fashion. You want to collaborate, you're collaborating with a wedding events planner, and you call that collaboration. You cannot even post it on your own page because all you do is fashion, fashion, fashion. So what do you have to say to that? Will you call that a wise move? How do you think I can really navigate if I'm just starting out today? I want to make a lot of money. You said collaborate. How do I collaborate? You said I should go out and touch grass. How can I go out and touch grass? And how will that even convert to money?
Reach out to people. You know the people in your niche that are very important to your growth. If you want to be a wedding photographer, for example, you have to think about wedding the who are the people in wedding
Event planners.
event planners. You need to get a model or a bride and a groom. You need to get a wedding gown. So fashion houses, event planners, you can reach out to people, send emails, tell them, okay, this is what you have in mind, this is the vision. You are not making any sort of money from it, but my contribution to this is that I'll pay for this, I'll pay for this, I'll pay for this. We come together and create something worthwhile. If it's fashion, based on your idea or your drive, reach out to fashion brands, reach out to models, reach out to your fellow photographers as well. Because in as much as you are trying to reach out to people, remember that the more you are in that space, the better you are able to, the more you're able to get insights or opinions or what have you. So reach out. When I say reach out to people, don't be scared to reach out to big brands. The eyes is no, they'll tell you no, or they'll air your message. You reach out again.
Something happened to me one time. I was so broke. I think it was 3 years or 2 years. No, it was 3 years ago. I was so broke that I just sat down that day and I wrote like 100 emails. No, it was not 200. It was like 50 or 60. I reached out to 100 events planner. I used to be big on wedding shit, a lot of wedding. And about 15 replied, 2 called. I got 1 job that same week or next week. So is that crazy? And I was just thinking about it that if you are so, if instead of just sitting down and complaining, I don't have clients, I don't have jobs, how hard have you worked to really get clients?
Exactly. So, because sometimes you think you just fall into your lap. Yes, there are times where you get lucky. Your previous work has a way of speaking for you, but there are times where you have to actually try to reach out. And I'm not talking of just Nigerian-based creative.
Yeah.
Shoot
Don't be
for the
scared
stars.
to
Shoot. Reach out to
send her email,
Send that email.
send
to
her
Cosmos,
proposal.
Go to Vogue. Send them. Make research. People that get featured in Vogue or get hired by Vogue to shoot campaigns and all. Some of them aren't. It's not referrals. Some actually pitched. This is what I do. This is how I execute. This is my kini. You send it out. And you bid for. It's like bidding. Oh, this is what I want to do. This is what I charge. Just do it because nobody will beat you. Nobody will beat you, and the highest
Even if you're just going to be there waiting for the next big thing to happen.
And you'll be surprised how far that will take you.
So what would you say success means to you as a photographer? Even though that's not the kind of question we asked here, but what would you say success means to you as a photographer?
Personally, I don't want to be controversial. Before you say, oh, look at this guy, you're not serious. But I think success to me is enjoyment. When I say enjoyment, I mean enjoying the process. You get to a stage in your career where you feel like you don't enjoy this thing. At that point, you have to take a step back. If you're really serious about you, take a step back, evaluate what you have done. Because you have to primarily enjoy this thing. If Messi didn't enjoy football, bro, if Ronaldo didn't like it, nothing for us.
You have to try as much as possible.
You have to keep enjoying the process. How do you keep enjoying the process? Keep consuming. I know people say consume less than
create more than
you consume. Consumption is very important.
But you also said something earlier that anything you think this is an idea, new idea you want to do, is because you've seen it somewhere. So if you are not consuming enough, you can actually be consuming too little.
Exactly. So consume what you are interested in. It has a way of reigniting the spark. So if you can keep enjoying the process, then you have other doors open.
So now let's talk about your gear. What brand do you shoot? Let's talk about your gear.
All right. Just my gear.
Yeah.
Currently, I shoot with a Fujifilm X-T5.
How does it feel like to shoot with a Fujifilm in a world like Nigeria? In a country like Nigeria where every other photographer shoots with either Canon, sorry guys, Sony, Canon, Nikon, Blackmagic, whatever. Yeah.
It's there's no difference to me, honestly, because like I said before, I have used Canons, I've used Nikon, I've used Fuji.
And you chose Fujifilm.
Oh no, there's a backstory to that.
Okay.
Fujifilm was.
But it's not like you chose Fujifilm over Canon, Abi.
This guy. Okay, so I have my ranking, and I don't want to be controversial.
Okay, I'm so curious.
Yeah.
Can we know your ranking and how you rank this camera?
By brand or by
brand?
Go by brand.
Number one.
I used to be a very, very serious advocate for Canon.
Okay.
When I say use, it's not like I don't like Canon anymore. It's just that I have seen the light. I have seen some things that are really.
You've seen what? You've seen the lights. And what is the lights? What is the lights, bro?
Canon is crazy. Canon is a very beautiful brand. But I think Sony tops it.
Sony's the lights?
Sony's the lights.
Nice.
And they have their peculiarities. Again, I don't want people thinking that, because I said Sony is the light, Sony is like the ultimate, I'll go for a Sony. You have your Canon R and you refuse to use it because you don't have your Sony. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Shoot, create, do whatever it is. Because
so what particularly about Canon do you like?
Canon, colors.
Sorry, Sony. You chose Sony, yeah.
Well, their ecosystem is really nice,
Yeah.
easily adaptable, easy to use, no brainer. Like you can pick up your Sony today, and within a few days you have gotten like the details
The
about,
many systems are just
and
straightforward
then
and stuff.
it's straightforward, easy to use, and very rugged as well.
So why do you choose Fujifilm? I'm curious.
Well, like I said, the backstory, that Fujifilm was a gift from somebody very dear to me.
But you seem to be enjoying it so much.
I love Fuji. I love Fujifilm.
But you're not
And,
into street photography because I know most people that
use Fujifilm.
the
Well,
street.
my Fuji is, like I said, the XC5. Um, I am primarily a fashion photographer. So if I was a street photographer, definitely it would thrive there. But I'm shooting fashion campaigns. I'm shooting weddings, editorials. So it's what I have. I'm shooting it. I will not become,
You're making the most out of what you have.
yeah, I will not become a street photographer just because I bought a Fuji, because I have a Fuji. Stick to what I'm doing.
But will you sell your Fujifilm to get a Sony?
Nope.
You'd rather own a
I would
Sony
rather
and
just,
add it to
yeah,
your
add it to
collection.
my collection.
So you were talking about how you rank those cameras. Can we have the rank?
Hasselblad.
Number one.
Sony.
As a photographer.
As a
right?
photographer, because, well, do your research, you would see. Anyway,
No, that's
I
like
feel like
no-brainer.
we should leave Hasselblad out of it, because currently in Nigeria, why people,
I think
some people
Fujifilm
have
also has a large
medium
sensor
format,
or medium format.
yeah, they have medium format cameras as well. Yeah, Sony, Canon.
But in my opinion, I think medium formats are very overrated, especially if you're shooting weddings, like shooting, you're not shooting for billboard, you're not, like, the only edge I think those camera has is for
Pixelation,
large
for large
format.
format.
Yeah.
You're right. But
I don't think there's anything particular about. I'd rather get a Leica camera or a Fujifilm if I want a distinct, unique color. I'm going for Hasselblad.
Yeah. Well, medium formats have their place, and I don't know if currently in Nigeria we have. I mean,
I don't think anybody owns it.
No,
an
I know.
Hasselblad.
There's someone that has one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't know personally. I don't know him personally, but
Oh, okay.
I've seen him in one.
A photographer or
Yeah,
just an
photographer.
enthusiast?
A photographer.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to say photographer because I don't know him as a photographer, so I'll say an enthusiast. Yeah. So yeah,
Fujifilm, Hasselblad,
Sony,
Canon.
I'm sorry, like I
So you heard it, guys.
I'm sorry. See, sometimes these things crumble. They change from time to time, but for some reason, Sony has a way of remaining up there.
But will you say the gear you use has a huge role to play in the quality of your work as a photographer?
Yes and no.
Explain.
Well, for a seasoned photographer, your gear definitely has a role to play. And at the same time, how do I put this? Gear matters, please. Gear matters a lot. But at the same time, learning or knowing how to manipulate this equipment should also be a priority, because you can buy this thing and just keep it. It's just there in your house. You don't
So we have two gear matters here. When we say gear matters, I'm not really talking about the brand.
Okay.
I'm talking about the level of the gear.
Okay.
Like, does it matter that you're shooting with A7 or A7 IV? Or does it matter that you're using XT1? I don't know if there is anything like that versus XT5. Does it really matter that you're using the latest gadgets?
It varies with the individual. It might matter to me.
Does it affect the quality of your work to an extent?
It does.
It does.
It does.
But it's not always, it's not the reason you have crappy images.
No.
It's just the reason maybe you cannot shoot for, let's say, billboard, large, this thing, you cannot shoot in low light condition perfectly. Not the reason to have, not nice pictures and just blame it on gear, right?
Yeah.
So you heard it, guys. Our guests for today have told us that Sony is king after Hasselblad for photography. I'm not.
I didn't say that, bro.
I already said.
This is what you have, bro. This is what you have, bro. Just see, just explore, create, be happy. Honestly, don't be caged into thinking this is the gear. I must get this. If I don't get this thing, I go die. Because the world evolves. Today is Sony. Tomorrow they have a Canon coming out. Tomorrow Nikon is beating everybody. So like, your work. It's peculiar to you. Do what
And
works for
even
you.
in 2026, I don't think any brand is has the monopoly anymore or something, because everybody now has amazing
Everybody,
camera.
exactly.
Nikon has its, Sony has its,
Exactly.
Blackmagic. Like even Nikon, we used to drag for having crappy,
Exactly.
video
You've seen the
features.
ZR now.
Yes, and they
It's
released the
crazy.
ZR, and I believe ZR is just a beginning. ZR is just to tell us that we just bought red and this is what
This is what we are.
we
We
can
are.
do.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm very sure they are cooking another better version of ZR
Definitely.
currently.
Always evolving.
And one thing I've really gotten from this conversation is the fact that as creatives, we should not be working in isolation. If you really want to grow, it's not just about being good at what you do.
Yeah.
Understanding the business aspect of your work means, knowing how to connect with people, rubbing minds with creatives that already know what you've done. You don't have to learn from your own mistakes.
Exactly.
You don't have to spend years
Trying to.
doing try and error before you are able to, achieve, great results in your. Talk to people, buy courses. What do you think? Do you think it's important for creators to pay for knowledge?
I think so. Because okay, let me give you an example. There are people who do light courses, and I'm not saying it applies to everybody, but you know that you're someone who shoots at a studio regularly, and you want to understand how light works, where you position the light, the intensity, and all of that. And
Very important.
and you see that Kubi KH is doing it. You can just go there, because some of these things you have to watch. As Alpha was saying, he just wants to watch you set up. You can be watching, like, because I was shooting the other day, I was looking at his camera. I wasn't looking at the lens or the body. I was looking at his settings. When we set up just now, I peeped your settings. I looked at it. It has a way of making me consume and digest something that, okay, so I've watched you. This is something that is
Then you
peculiar.
pick your own this thing out of it.
When you watch people work, when you see them position their light, to see the distance from the light's backdrop to the subject, all of this informs you, and then you go back to your own workspace and you practice. It just makes you grow faster.
Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much.
I think it's a lot. We touched a lot in this podcast, and I'm sure you guys really enjoyed every bit of the podcast, because I did. Thank you guys for sticking around. If you're still watching to this point, then that means you really, really learned a lot. And thank you for sticking to the end. And if there's any question you want to ask that we didn't touch on about photography, making money from your passion in photography, and how you can turn your photography passion, into a proper career, you can drop it in the comment section. And if you also want us to bring him back to the show, you can also put it in the comment section. If there's any creator in Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, anywhere you want us to bring to the show, you can also comment. Let us know what you want to see, who you want to see next on our next episode of this podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for sticking with us. See you in the next episode.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.